Hello and welcome! Today you'll be hearing some r/malicious compliance stories, read by Red. That's me. Okay, let's get going. You will work 9 to 5 so we can watch you. At my first job, I enjoyed a flexible work schedule, but because I was bored out of my mind, I would do non-work things during work, like everyone else in the department. I was singled out together with one other co-worker and got told to work 9 to 5 instead of 8 to 4 as I did before. And boy, we did. We would show up at no later than 9 o'clock, even if we got there early, and would drop whatever we were doing at 5 p.m. exactly. This included walking out of meetings and straight up missing them. We knew we were being watched for non-work activities, so whenever there was nothing to do, we started watching others for non-work activities, collecting evidence and reporting them. Soon enough, it became obvious that they were targeting us because the others had friends in high places and didn't get in trouble for the same stuff. So we took it a step further and did exactly what our tasks described, but at a snail's pace, so as to never not be working. Then they threatened to fire us because our productivity was down and we were disrespectful. Leaving meetings, snitching on people. We pointed them to the fact that we were just doing as they said, and they struggled to dispute it. The 9 to 5 was lifted, though I'm pretty sure the watching wasn't. Then I managed to make sure I was essential to keep things running smoothly in my team, and then quit with enough paid time off left to just peace out. It felt glorious. Yeah, I would get out of that toxic work environment too. That's ridiculous. Okay, here is our next story. You can't be late anymore. You are to work only your set schedule. Okay, you're the boss. So after I graduated college, I went back to work at my high school job at a large auto parts chain. I have a few stories of malicious compliance from there because it was a miserable place to work with miserable management. But I think this one takes the cake. I lived about 15 minutes from the store and would routinely work 1 to 2 hours past my shift to help the manager close up and tally cash sales receipts. We were mainly wholesale, so the cash receipts were a small portion of the sales and had to be tallied by hand, as well as take out the trash, prep and stage the first deliveries for the next morning, as well as sweep the storefront. I didn't mind doing these things because I got a little overtime out of it, got in the good graces of the manager, or so I thought, and being that even though my drive home was short, staying a little late and letting traffic die down was fine with me. One morning I walked in about 9:07 when my shift was scheduled to start at 9 a.m. I didn't see what the big issue was since I'd been staying late every day for months helping him close the store, but apparently he took issue with it that day, which would have been fine if he'd said something along the lines of, "Hey OP, you're late. I know you worked long yesterday, but let's still get here on time." But that isn't what he said. He flew off the handle and went on about needing to work my schedule. And we have schedules for a reason. And you just need to be at work for the schedule I made you. Well, needless to say, since I'd been staying late for months to help close the store, it's against policy not to have 2+ people in the store at a time. Despite it not being on my schedule, this just rubbed me the wrong way. So I convinced myself that instead of causing a scene and yelling, I would just do exactly what he said. So, 5:30 rolls around, we closed at 6. I stood in front of the computer until it hit 5:30 exactly, clocked out, and started walking towards the door. Where are you going? Home. What? Why? Who's going to help me close the store tonight? I don't know, but you made it very clear that I was to work my schedule. So I get off at 5:30, it's now 5:30 and I'm going home. And I walked out. The next morning I got there at 8:55 and just stood in front of the computer until it hit 9 o'clock. Phone's ringing? Too bad, my shift hasn't started. Deliveries need to go out? Sorry, I'm not on the clock yet. I clocked in at 9 and then clocked out at 5:30. Same conversation as the day before about who was going to help him close. Third morning I walk in and he waits for me to clock in, then pulls me aside to talk to me. You know, I think we can overlook a few minutes in the morning if you stay and help me close. Oh, interesting. I thought I was supposed to just work my schedule. Yeah, well, I guess we can overlook that. I had very few problems with this manager after that little exchange. Some managers will take advantage of you if you do more than your assigned responsibilities, and they won't give you any credit for it. So having a good work ethic is great, but be careful that you're not taken advantage of. Okay, here's another one. The rules apply to everyone, even you. I worked as a personal banker for a bank. For obvious reasons, they were pretty stringent about security. I was issued a key to the front door and a key to my desk where confidential files were stored. Most days I was scheduled to be there 15 minutes before opening time, so I would unlock the front door to enter and lock it behind me. The assistant manager loved control. She regularly created new rules and orders that went above and beyond the bank's policies. She demanded that bank keys be on a separate keychain and stay on our person at all times. While getting out of my car one morning, I realized I left my keys at home. I didn't want to make the 40-minute round-trip drive for 2 keys. There were people inside that could let me in, and I didn't have anything in my files that wasn't already on the system. Besides, a backup key was available. Assistant manager would have none of that. She refused to unlock the door to let me in. No big deal, I could wait the 15 minutes. At 9, I walked back up once the branch opened, and she was standing there letting customers in, but blocked me. I tried to convince her that I didn't even need my keys if I could get in the door. She said, "The rules apply to everyone. Go home and get your keys." So I did just that and went about my day. As luck would have it, she forgot her own keys a few days later. I gladly stood at the locked door to tell her, "The rules apply to everyone, even you." Needless to say, assistant manager wasn't happy and called the branch manager. He came out of his office, took one look, and laughed really hard. He made me let her in, but told her she needed to change that rule. Fast forward several years, I got a couple of promotions with the bank and ended up being in charge of all assistant managers in that area. Assistant manager was still in her same job pulling the same crap. My first order of business was to make her, and the others like her, get rid of all the arbitrary extraneous rules. She wasn't happy about my new rule, but I got to tell her again that the rules apply to everyone. She quit not long after I took away her power. That's also a revenge story right there. Like, you bided your time and got promoted above her and got back at her. I love it. Okay, here is the next one. It's commuting time. Okay. This happened a couple of years ago when I was working in the public sector. We had one main office and several smaller offices, each about 30 to 60-minute train ride away. I rented a flat literally a 10-minute walk from the main office, so commuting was super quick and I had a really good work-life balance. Occasionally I had meetings at other offices. On those days I would get the train to the other office and work there for the day. I put in the time it took to travel on my timesheet since I figured it was traveling for work and outside of my usual commute. I didn't get paid overtime or anything, but we could claim additional work time back as extra days off. Somehow my grad supervisor, not my boss who had no issue with the timesheeting, found out about this and called me into a meeting to explain that if I was working in another office for the day, then the time it took to get there was commuting time and not working time. However, if I just went to the meeting and worked the rest of the day in my usual office, it was work travel. I think you can see where this is going. I used to come into the main office, work for 5 minutes, and then head to the other offices for the rest of the day. Drove grad manager mad, but she couldn't say anything about it since I was following her rules. Good one. Wow, those were some really good r/malicious compliance stories, read by me, Red. Please give the video a like, because I know you liked them. And don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell so that you get reminded whenever I publish a video, which is every day. Thanks so much. Have a good rest of your day.